What's up, guys? This is Bull by the Fell-Handed, and today we have Bull's E3 weak spot guide. Yes, that's right. This is going to follow the traditional weak spot guides. I'm going to have frontal weak spots, angled, over-angled, side, finally rear, and modules as well, just to let you guys know every single tiny bit about this tank. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Now, guys, the T110E3 is just a monster at close quarters. It's very tough. Hold down, it can be almost invincible. Well, you know what? There's quite a few weak spots in this tank that not everyone knows about, and today we're going to go over that. Now, the area that I am hitting currently is 305 millimeters armor sloped at 60 degrees on the side, so it's in the 600 plus millimeters of effective armor. Just be aware of that. So if you hit the sides of the frontal hull of this tank, it will most likely be a bounce unless you are shooting a tactical nuke. Moving on. Now, as we get closer to the turret ring, the armor becomes slightly vulnerable. Now, the place that I just shot is 152 millimeters thick. It's directly behind the lights. Now, guys, I would not, my constant viewers, count on hitting this particular location, as I am 50 meters away and it is extremely difficult for me. But as you see, the inside of the three headlights there is where this weak spot lies, and it is not a reliable pin. But my constant viewers, if you find a hold down E3, you may pin it in this location, albeit not reliably. Now, here we have the optics. Now, guys, this is not a hitbox. This is, you're just going to hit it and it's going to say, oh, you damaged the optics, and then that's about it. Now, granted, some vehicles you can hit the optics, and it does count as damage as well as damaging the equipment. Here we have the other optic, same thing, critical damage. So there's not a lot going on there. Just be aware of that. Now, I had a few people say, you know what, Bull, what about these spots? Can you hit them? They change colors a little bit. You know, what can you do with the gun sight, and so on and so forth. Guys, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If you manage to hit that, and and do damage, play the lottery. That is my advice to you. Now, the turret, not the turret, but the machine gun turret is also extremely strong. Not an easy penetration. And guys, you're not going to have an easy penetration anywhere on this tank, most likely. Everything that you manage to pin this tank with in the front is going to have to be just 100% luck. Unless of course you're firing at the lower plate, then that is something we could possibly get behind. But the turret of this thing, the upper turret, the machine gun turret, is just extremely tough. So my advice to you would be kind of shoot low and put right on it, is my particular advice. Now, the upper plate of this thing weighs in around 406 millimeters. As you go lower on the front of the beak, it drops down to 398. Now, granted, of course, there's not many tanks you're going to hear drops down to 398, but the E3 is one of them. So the upper plate on this tank is just nigh impossible to pin. There we go. We snuck another round in there, and I'm just, at this point, I'm just trying to see exactly how easy it is and how reliably I can put a round in there. And guys, the answer is it's not. Now, the upper beak is still extremely tough, 350 approximately millimeters of thickness, more as it gets more and more angled. The lower isn't actually that bad. It's 152 millimeters thick, and it's sloped at 55 degrees. So it is very possible, if you are facing an E3 straight on, to penetrate him with a 250, 260 millimeters of penetration round. In other words, most of your tanks, minus of course the E100, that's your tier 10 tanks, of course, your tier 9 tanks, so on and so forth, 8s, it's just a whole different ballgame. Now, guys, at this time I should also mention that I am running the 140, the Object 140, which comes in at 264 millimeters of penetration on average for its standard APCR round, 330 millimeters of penetration for its standard heat round, which is high explosive anti-tank, i.e. does not like sloped armor. Now, moving on. Your lower plate dead center, guys, is going to run around right under 250. So, like I was saying previously, you can do some work there. The patterns on this tank, on the lower part of the armor, it's much akin to the IS-7. It's extremely splashy, if that makes sense. It has bands that go hither and there. So just be very aware that the idea here is, guys, is to shoot it dead center. Now, I am running heat rounds right now, guys, and I penetrated this thing just to prove a point that if you run the numbers on this tank, there is a band, an upside down L, right there along where I'm firing, that odds say 1 out of 4 rounds will penetrate that. And that is kind of a better chance to penetrate than perhaps going underneath the machine gun turret on the top of the tank. The reason I say that is your machine gun turret is kind of, it's easy to pin. Let's just go ahead and say that. It's easy to pin. It's hard to connect. How about that? This, however, is pretty easy to hit. Pretty hard to connect, to pin with. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. As you can see, I'm working on the machine gun turret right now, firing high explosive anti-tank right into it, right into the weak spot, and nothing's happening. So be wary of that, guys. Now, as far as the other side of the tank, no, it does not have an upside down L to where you can shoot weak spots. It is only in that one location on the right hand side of the tank, or left if you are facing it. So just be aware of that. So there also, guys, is one tiny weak spot near the right side of the turret, or excuse me, the gun, and it's almost where we're shooting anyway. And you know, I'm along the lines of, I'm not even really going to mention it because we can go through the secret hold down spot with APCR. Now, of course, guys, heat will go right through the lower plate, more or less anywhere, as long as you don't hit that upper band. Now, moving on, we're going to go to angled weak spots. Should the E3 be angled? Of course not. It needs to be straight up. American tanks typically do not have good side armor. But I'm putting in this, I'm putting this in here for the E3 operators, as well as people who are attempting to pin an E3. So, E3 operators, my constant viewers, hear me now, 20 degrees is your optimum angle. If you go over 20 degrees, you are giving up the side big time, as you will soon see. Now, I am firing APCR 264 into the side of this tank, and it is just bouncing like crazy, guys. The 264 is the penetration, I guess I should say right now. Moving on, as you can see, doing nothing but tracking this guy. And the reason I'm putting this in here is because you are going to get at these cockeyed angles and nothing's going to work for you, and oh, I'm surrounded by guys, and you know, anyway, I know how the game goes. So this is to kind of demonstrate to you the invincibility of this tank at this particular angle. The side of the hull there, turret, whatever you want to call it, everything is just 100% bulletproof. I managed to sneak around in there with heat, and yes, it is possible if you put the heat in the right location. Yes, it will make something happen. Should you count on it? Probably not. Because here's the thing, guys. this tank is going to most likely be shooting back at you, and he's going to be handing out 850 a shot. Be aware of that. You need to go ahead and plan on fighting these things when they are hull down, because if an E3 is not hull down, he has already messed up, because you're going to have other tank destroyers firing at the lower plate in any place that's weak. So just keep that in mind. So my E3 operators, just be careful. Obviously, you know, if you run this tank, it is not a standalone tank. It is considered a support tank, because if you left this thing to its own devices, it would be ripped apart by other tanks. I know a lot of E3 operators don't necessarily want to admit that, but yes, this is totally a support tank. Moving on. Now, as you can see here, lower plate, yes, we still have some pretty good success down here. We are, however, running heat. And guys, this is the type of situation to where, unless he's hull down, if he's out in the open, sure, spam some premium ammo at him. If he's hull down and at any kind of distance, fire at the weak spots, the inside of the headlight, using your standard APCR or AP if you are a non-tier 10 medium, and see what happens. Hope for the best. Don't flatten, 6,000 silver per shot ammo against the front of a E3. Okay, guys, so moving on. This is your over-angled weak spots. I'm going to show you right here what this looks like when you're over-angled. Now, to the untrained eye, these two angles will look very much like one another. As you can see, everything is going through APCR, standard rounds, just burning through the side of this tank. Be aware, this is what will happen. And as you can see, I am firing further and further back just to see if I can pull a bounce off of anything, and it's refusing to do so. Now, as of course I move up to the front of the turret and the turret body, now will I encounter some resistance. However, we're still managing to get through the side of the turret. Keep that in mind, guys. It is extremely possible, even though this tank is very well armored, to penetrate it if it over angles like this. So just keep that in mind. E3 operators, don't do this. If you do see an E3 and you are trying to penetrate it, then obviously this is what we're looking for, guys. So you know, if he's over angled and he's in a battle not looking at you, this would be the time to strike. Just FYI. So moving on, let's go ahead and go to side weak spots. Now, guys, it wouldn't be bull by the fell-handed if I did not explore every single conceivable weak spot. Okay, guys, moving on. Now, if you have watched my IS-7 weak spot guide, you know there are just a certain few spots on that tank, even from the side, you are not going to pin. For example, what I am hitting right now is in the ridiculous zone. You're looking at, 380, 390 effective armor. I'm not going to bore you with the plate and the angle and the compound angle and all that. It doesn't really matter in the end. If you are that big in the numbers, email a Viking and I will send it to you. Now, there is a tiny crack of daylight between the gun and the mantlet right there. And I'm sitting here trying to hit it. It's not happening for me. It is a fairly easy shot, assuming, of course, you can connect with it. Granted, of course, it's not that easy to connect with it. The mantlet, guys, forget about it. I mean, it's up there into the auto bounce zone. And, most mantlets you can go through. Now, you know what? Let's not say most, but some mantlets you can go through. So, as you can see here, my constant viewers, I'm starting to show you the line of where the armor ends and you can go through. Now, I did not get lucky with that bottom shot, because here's the thing. You're not going to get lucky with, 100 penetration, or excuse me, 100 armor over your penetration. It's not going to happen. Mathematics will not allow that. What I did manage to do is my shot actually hit the one that penetrated ended up connecting with the top of the tank, which is insane. I would never bank on that shot connecting in a real combat type situation. So just be aware of that some of my BS shots you may not be able to duplicate. Moving on. Now, guys, once we get out of this extremely armored area, the rest of the turret is good. Now, as you can see there, I snuck that one into the right behind the mantlet weak spot. I managed to put another one in there. So, moving on, keep that in mind for, you know, whatever. Semantics. Moving on. The rest of the tank, tracks, hull, everything, don't shoot the machine gun hatch. It's pretty much tricky no matter where you hit it. But everything else, even the mini fridge in the back, you're pretty much full throttle. You can shoot that thing anywhere. But as you can see, for a while, I just walk up this thing with APCR. I decide to switch to heat, and I don't have good luck with either one. So, you know, just be aware of that it's not going to happen for you. You may end up getting a round in there, but you may not. And if you manage to bounce off the side of this little machine gun hatch, I can see you emailing the E3 operator the words hacker. So, be aware of that. If you see this thing in the side, guys, go for the tracks, go for the mini fridge, go from the 2/3 of the turret there. The other 2/3 of the turret, you're more or less guaranteed a penetration, unless, of course, your shot deviates up to the top, the very tippy top of the flat armor, and then obviously that'll be more than 75 degrees. It'll be auto bounce. Moving on, anywhere but the machine gun port and the front third of the tank. Alright? Moving on, we shall go to rear weak spots. Now, like I said, guys, I feel obligated. I have to do every single thing. It's just in my nature. I have to be completely thorough in this. So yes, we're going to do rear weak spots on the E3. Now, we are speaking to this machine gun hatch. He has nothing to say about us. We're pinning this thing left, right, and center. So, yes, the mini fridge is good. The back of the turret there is good. The sides, if you look at the sides of the rear of the turret there, you have to be very cautious, because if your round deviates, it will hit that and it will miss, because the armor at this angle on the sides is sloped and it is incredible. Keep that in mind. The safe bet, guys, my constant viewers, would be to go for the mini fridge. Shoot this thing in the mini fridge right where the engine is. It'll shut down the whole works and you'll be the better for it. And of course, my E3 operators, if someone is firing at you from behind, you have made a grievous error. Moving on, the mini fridge here, this entire area is engine. And there's, you know, a high probability you are going to get engine damage. Of course, it depends on a lot of issues there, as well as some hidden statistics. But guys, it's neither here nor there. Now, moving on, let's go ahead and switch to modules. They probably should have been first, but you know what? They're in here. Now, right here, guys, in the beginning of the video here, I pointed those out as being optics. Now, your driver sets right here. This vehicle doesn't actually have anyone setting inside the hull. There's the gun. I mean, duh, but it's like I said, it wouldn't be bull by the fell-handed if I didn't go over every single thing. You also have secondary optics right here, as you saw earlier in the video. Now, the gunner is going to set to the right of the gun, to the left if you are the E3 operator. This machine has 2 ammo racks mounted vertically in the front of the hull here. Now, obviously you can't penetrate the upper plate aside from a tactical nuke, but they stretch from the upper plate to the lower plate. So just be aware of that, guys. Now, here we are on the side, and at this point I am outlining the side ammo rack for you. So there's a great deal of surface area on the side of this tank that you can shoot and connect the ammo rack to the ammo rack, excuse me. Your gas tank is back here. Just keep that in mind. And if you get hit in the gas tank, guys, all it will do is it's more apt to start a fire. Moving on, the engine is back here connected to this drive wheel. It's a tiny little piece here, as well as the mini fridge. I'm kind of leaving the mini fridge out. That should be, self-explanatory, but you know what? I'm covering it right here because I like to cover everything. Moving on, your engines here, what I was just covering is your radio and your radio operator, as well as your commander sits dead center. We'll get to that in just a moment. Guys, this entire area is nothing but engine. So just, keep that in mind if you are behind this tank, that you can shoot virtually anywhere and hit it in the engine. You will be facing it, of course. Okay, guys, moving on. This is your commander right here. He is going to be peeking his head out of that little turret. And that is the weak spot guide to the T110E3. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.